Hi everyone and welcome back to Squares and Circles, the podcast where we transform growing pains into life gains. I'm your host Ellie and I'm so excited to be back for season 2 and I hope you are too. I really hope you've had a lovely little break since season 1 and I can't wait to embark on more of this journey with you guys. Here at Squares and Circles, we dive deep into the complexities and challenges of transitioning from teenagehood to adulthood. Whether you're 16 or 60, navigating a major life transition, or just need a little extra guidance on your path, you're in the right place. From self-care and mental health to career development and personal growth, we cover it all. In today's episode, we're diving deep into a topic that affects most of us at some point, and that is mental health. I'm beyond excited to be joined by Andy Pierce, the founder of the incredible mental health charity, The Pierce Perspective. His organisation is making a real difference using a wide range of tools to help people not only manage their bad mental health, but also prevent them before they even take root. In this episode, we explore how nature and horticulture can be really valuable tools in your mental well-being. Andy shares the inspiring work that he and his team are doing and offers invaluable insights on how to maintain your mental health, overcome self-doubt, and build the confidence needed to thrive in adulthood. You're going to walk away with practical tips and tools to help you reach your highest potential. So get ready to level up with us. Let's turn those growing pains into life gains, laugh through the struggles, and embrace the journey. So let's dive in and grow through this together. Hi Andy, thanks for joining us today.
You are more than welcome. It's an honour.
It's such a privilege to have you here. So let's start by telling us about yourself. I want to hear about you and the Pierce Perspective and your background and your story. Tell us everything.
Now, how long have we got? Because everything is a long story.
Condense it into a paragraph or two.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got this.
Okay, so let's go for me first. Started out as an actor as a kid. Then went to Manchester to seek my fame and fortune as a 16-year-old. Went to drama college, and then a little bit later on found out I was a singer. So I found out I could sing. So it sounds weird when you say I found out I could sing. But for years, like, I was kind of put down a little bit about being a singer.
Yeah.
So I found I could sing, found my voice, so became a singer, and then did really well with that. Travelled Europe. I lived in Cyprus for 10 years, then moved back to the UK about 10 years ago. I did a few things on telly and stuff like that. Worked for BBC. BBC Radio Leicester as a presenter for the last 5 years. But the most thing I'm probably most proud of, outside of my 2 children, obviously, is the fact of my charity, the Pierce Perspective Mental Health Charity. I set it up because I lost some people, basically. While I was working for the BBC, 3 people close to me died within a 2-week period. 2 of them were death by suicide. 1 of them was old age. So, but 2 of them could have been prevented. And it's kind of really hit me hard. And I realised that I was in such a position to be able to help people, and I wasn't doing it. So I created a feature on my radio show called Mental Health Matters.
Yeah.
Every week I interviewed a different mental health professional talking about coping mechanisms, strategies, ways to deal with mental ill health, ways to prevent it, ways to identify it. And then the BBC went through a digital evolution, and a lot of presenters lost their jobs. And I was one of the presenters that lost my shows, but I wanted to keep doing the work that I was doing. So I went through the turmoil of setting up my charity, because I was going to just do a podcast, and then it's really snowballed from there. It's obviously no longer just a podcast. It's a fully fledged mental health advocacy charity showcasing the benefits of horticulture and nature on mental health.
So tell us more about the charity. Like, what is it that you actually do? What's the goals behind it?
Okay. So currently, I've got about 5 projects on the go.
Yeah.
I'm one of those neurospicy people that I cannot deal with just one project.
It's not enough.
It's not. Give me more. One project that we've got is the Wellbeing Garden. We've got our first site, which is in Burbage in Leicestershire. It's in the middle of an allotment unit. It was an original polytunnel unit. So stone wall about 2 foot high up, then polytunnel ribs all the way along. It's about 14 metres long. Loads of people, loads of businesses and companies have come along to help with that.
Oh, that's so lovely.
So that should be ready hopefully in the next 6 months. They will be able to do therapeutic workshops and help, do one-to-ones, group therapy sessions, that sort of stuff. So that's the Wellbeing Garden aspect.
Yeah.
Then I have a real plan. I sound like Martin Luther. I sound like Martin Luther King. I have a dream. But it's true fact. I do have a dream, and it's my mental health educational plan. It's a massive plan. It's not just a flash in the pan, easy, quick idea.
Yeah.
I've thought about it a lot, and I've brought people in. So the charity itself, before I continue, the charity itself is backed by medical professionals. In my arsenal, I have a chartered psychologist. She's called Dr. Audrey Tang. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman.
I love listening to her on your podcast.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, check out her podcasts as well.
She got a podcast?
Yeah, she's got, I think, 2 or 3. Just look for the Wellbeing Media Studio as well.
Yeah.
That's hers.
Okay.
Let's have a listen to that. She's got the TV shows that she does now. She borrowed the name Mental Health Matters off me and made it into a TV show. I know, but you know what? I love her to bits, so I let her.
Let it slide.
And to be fair, I'm probably sure that I'd heard it before I joined the show. Anyway, but yeah, so she has a TV show on E360 TV. It's a worldwide platform where she does similar to what I was doing, interviewing different mental health professionals. And we're also backed by a professor of mental health, Anthony Kessel. I also have a head of therapeutic horticulture, Alison Broughton from Green Spaces Counselling. So she works alongside me with the horticulture aspects and things like that. But the mental health educational plan, it's a 3-staged plan. And the aim, the goal of this plan is to have generations upon generations of school leavers leaving school with the knowledge, with the understanding, with the strategies and coping mechanisms of mental health first aiders.
I think that's so needed.
Do you know what I mean? Just imagine, like, not 1 or 2, but entire classes leaving school with that knowledge.
Imagine what the population would look like. It'd be insane. I can't believe this is the first time I'm hearing of it being approached in this way.
There's nothing.
No.
There's a lot of things out there to help, to identify, to help, a lot of resources. There's not much out there to prevent.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really trying to do.
I think it makes way more sense when you think about it, because everyone's like, go to therapy and you'll fix yourself, or like you'll work through it. But why do you have to get to a point that's so low first?
Yeah,
that
exactly.
it makes way more sense. It's like with physical health, you don't just like eat loads of shit and then not do anything to look after yourself until.
I kind of do, but.
Well, yeah.
So the structure of the plan, it gets all ages. It starts at early years with a persona doll. All right,
Okay.
It's a doll that's linked to some short stories, nature walks, introduces the concept of mental health, not too much, because obviously these are the kids.
Age appropriate.
Then it goes into Key Stage 1, so the persona doll changes into an animated character.
Okay.
And then you've got Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 2, bite-sized animated videos where they get to know this character. They learn about this character. They get little bits, again, more age-appropriate mental health knowledge. Then as you shift into Key Stage 3, the animation turns into a real-life person, which is me. Yeah, it will be me. And then from Key Stage 3 up until adulthood, I and my medical professionals will do bite-sized videos with pure, my aim is to have real cinematography videos, proper videos that kids want to watch, but the information's going in, because we all know, the brains are sponges.
Yeah.
Give them all that information at such an early age, they will be able to do so much more good with it.
Yeah, that's so brilliant. I love that idea so much. That's really cool.
So there's that mental health educational plan. I'm also working on a portfolio of alternative prison. Glitch. Alternative provision providers. Okay, so schools have alternative provisions for children that are struggling with the school environment, or aren't settling in, or need a bit of a release. Kids are taken out of school to do some form of alternative provision.
So what would that include? What sort of things?
It can be anything. It could be anything. It could just be talking therapy. It could be some sort of drama therapy, music therapy, some sort of exercise regime. It could be any sort of provision. But
is it like personalised to that child
I think there's just because it definitely works on a child-led system.
Yeah.
Because they look at the child, they assess the child, and think, what kind of things do you need? But the kids are taken out of school. Imagine I'm in school, I'm not enjoying myself, and I get taken out of school to go and have some fun and have a great time, and then I get taken back to school. And it's like, oh,
Well, now I'm back here.
Yeah,
what now?
I've got to wait until next week to go back to that place again. It's boring. Like, I'm going to kick off again.
Yeah.
What I want to do is bring the alternative provision to the school. Doing things like horticulture therapy, but not just horticulture and nature, working with music therapy, drama therapy, art therapy, bringing all of these different aspects to schools so that the kids have the enjoyment in the school. So, you know, especially in the horticulture aspect, it breeds, you know, the responsibility, the ownership of the, sort of seeing the flowers, the pride of watching them grow and bloom, wanting to go back to see if they're still there, or prune them, or, you know, collect the seeds from them. It keeps them driven to go back to school.
Yeah.
So that's a real passion, the alternative provision portfolio, that I really think if we had that I can move different provisions around different schools, helping kids stay grounded in school and you know, learn to want to be there, because I'm not going to get stuck on the educational system. I'm not. Like...
No, we both have so much to say about that, I think.
Maybe we could come back and do an entire other
I would
episode.
love to, honestly. I would love to do that.
It's not right. It needs fixing. And I'm just trying to do what I can.
Well, I think that's a really good idea, because obviously school is important. The way it's done, again, won't get into it, but what's the word?
Archaic?
Yeah.
Not right for this day and age.
Very questionable.
Yeah.
So with that approach, I think it's really good, because it's teaching kids to learn to love school, or like at least want to be there. And if they're there, then they're learning, and that's fantastic. So I think that's a really good way to do it, because there's so many people that if they have gone to school, they haven't paid attention, or they haven't like been there mentally.
Yeah.
So if we can get kids to be there, not just physically, but also mentally,
Be present, be
then
remote, yeah.
then that's fantastic, because learning isn't the problem, it's the system. Like,
Yeah.
love learning. And obviously want people to do that.
Yeah.
Especially children.
It needs, like everything these days, it needs to be more of a child-led system.
Yeah. It's
The way
very
the world
adult-led,
is,
isn't
yeah,
it?
it is. It's too structured to make workarounds. It crushes creativity, in my opinion, or stifles it at the most, or at the least, should I say. Yeah, we need outside-of-the-box thinkers.
Yeah, 100%. This kind of leads me on, I was going to ask you about this, because we were talking a bit about this education system last night, so I was thinking about it. Do you think, so there's a stat from Mind that says that negative mental health from 1993 to 2014 has gone up by 20%. Do you think that the education system has a role to play in that?
Possibly.
Or what do you think caused that,
we've had the digital revolution, haven't we, really, since then?
Yeah.
And I suppose social media's had a large part to play.
Yeah.
Schooling has gone... It's probably had a part to play in it as well. More recently, obviously, the Rona and all that.
Of course.
That's been a big hitter for mental health. I can't pinpoint exactly where it's come from. It's just we're all still in this fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And that's why all of this anxiety is floating about, and we need to be more... You speak about it a lot on this podcast, about being more present, about being more mindful, about doing mindfulness. And I totally commend you for that. I totally agree with it. We need to be more in the moment, because we're living too tentatively cautious of the rustle in the bush, thinking that it's still a tiger when it's not going to be a tiger.
No,
you know?
yeah.
And that's one of the reasons. So, yeah, we need to be a lot more mindful and use coping mechanisms and strategies to be able to help get us through things.
What sort of coping mechanisms do you think are useful?
This is one of Audrey's ones. It's called... I'm so glad I've got this. Because I was at a suicide prevention event the other day with Audrey, and she did it in her speech. She was talking about it, and I was just like, "Go, Audrey! I love this mechanism." So it's called the Spices Challenge. Okay. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling down, or everything's too on top of you, you need a release. Spices. Okay, it's the Spices Wheel or the Spices Challenge. You start with S, spiritual. Can do something spiritual. It doesn't have to be religious, it could just be a bit of meditation or a bit of mindfulness, just being still, in a bit of nature maybe, feel like spirituality that way. Moving into P from spices, you've got physical, bit of exercise, you know how that releases endorphins and...
Gets the negative energies out of you.
Exactly. I is intellectual. And then again, I know that you love talking about this, journaling.
Yeah.
Go, do some writing. Just get what is in your brain out of your brain onto a piece of paper. C is creative, so be it art or music, just something. If you play an instrument, pick it up, have a play. It'll help calm your mind. E stands for emotional, so that's sort of connecting with people, talking things through, opening up to people. S, the final S, is social, and that's actually getting out and about, being with people in groups.
Yeah.
So utilising the social aspect to help.
I think that one especially, well, obviously they're all really important, but the social aspect is really important because I feel like what a lot of people do is isolate themselves. It feels like what you should do at the time, but that's actually the worst thing you can do if you're feeling a bit shit, because you're just going to end up feeling worse because you're going to overthink, and you're probably less likely to do any of the other things because you're not going to work to get yourself out of it because you're just going in a spiral in your head. Yeah. You work a lot with nature and horticulture. What do you think is the benefit of nature specifically?
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, it's mindful. It's about being mindful. It's about being present in that moment, If you're doing some sort of horticulture, you're nurturing plants or cultivating something, it's just you and it. Do you know what I mean? If you're putting seeds in, it's just you and the compost. It's the same as everything. It's all sensory as well, isn't it? So you're touching the compost, you're feeling it. Depending on where you're doing it, you might be in a conservatory or you might be in a greenhouse. Imagine if it's raining. The rain's there. So it's giving you that relaxation, and all you are doing is taking care of that seed or that seedling or that plant. It puts you right in that moment. It keeps you being present.
It's hard to not feel present when you're like bringing something to life.
It's the nurturing side of it as well. I think nurturing aspect of humanity inside of you, and
Because when you were saying about it earlier and about kids watching plants grow and stuff, I was like, that is actually a really good point, because you hear a lot of people who have, this might be wrong, but like accidentally had children and they're just like, they saved my life.
Yeah.
They like having this kid to look after, like it's just saved my life, and now I'm in a much better place because I had this kid and like raised it and nurtured it. So in the same, it's obviously a lot less extreme version of that.
But it does give them that satisfaction, that take on life, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just mindfulness at the end of the day, and that is the number one thing to combat like mental health, is just to be there. With
the Spices Challenge, everything, it's just distractions.
Yeah.
It's mindful, taking your mind out of that place where it is, where you're beating yourself up or getting to yourself. Take your mind out of that and put it somewhere else. Yeah. And just turn off the other stuff. And you've said before many times, even if you do it for just a couple of minutes a day, it will get stronger and stronger and stronger until your resilience is bred. You've got that resilience.
It's just a natural response. Yeah. I think that's really important to talk about, actually, because I feel like with a lot of the talk about mental health, it's very much about
fly.
Get out of here.
Go away, fly.
Get out of here. That really distracted me.
Oh, squirrel.
What was I saying?
What you didn't see was a really small fly flew in front of Elle's face. And as you heard, it stopped her mid-sentence.
It was very interesting, fly. I thought you might have something to say. What was I saying?
I don't know, but it was extremely profound.
It was, wasn't it? And I've lost it. It's that stupid fly.
God damn you, fly. The fly came back from the future to stop you.
It's actually me. The fly
As
is
a
me.
fly?
Yes.
What?
That's what the future has in store for me.
Sorry. I apologise.
So I think a lot of the chat about mental health and the cures and preventions of it is always very much about like the healing aspect and how to fix what you're feeling. Sometimes that is just not, like, you just don't need that. You don't have the energy for that. You don't have the strength for that. And sometimes you just straight up don't want to. You just can't be bothered. And I feel like as well, distractions are not so much frowned upon, but like, it's like, well, you need to fix it. You can't just distract yourself all the time. But I think it's really important to talk about them as distractions, because sometimes that's just what you need.
Yeah.
And it's really important to be able to just be like, well, I'll deal with that later. But I think a lot of the conversations about mental health is very much fix. When the problem arises, you fix it.
Yeah.
Rather than just thinking about, can I fix this? Do I have the resources? Do I have the time? Do I have the energy? You need all of those things to be able to fix it. Otherwise, you're just going to end up worse off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think Yeah, having distractions is really important. And I don't know, I've never really thought about mindfulness as a distraction, but I suppose it is.
I mean, in the base level of what you are doing and why you're doing it, that is it. You are trying to distract that unevolved part of your brain from panicking.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's doing. It's panicking because it can't make sense of what you're feeling, or it's confused. So you're trying to just take that mindset and just put yourself somewhere else. And it is just a distraction. And all it'll take is like a couple of minutes, and then that feeling's gone.
Yeah.
All right, sometimes it isn't a couple of minutes. Sometimes it can be longer.
Yeah.
And, in those aspects, it is okay. It is okay to feel pants and crap, We all go through it. Life, like I say, quote Ronan Keating, life is a roller coaster. You've just got to ride it.
Yeah. That's so true.
I can't believe I quoted Ronan Keating on the show. Yeah.
Love it. It's a good quote though, no?
Yeah,
It's so real, yeah. It is so true. And it's like, well, I've heard it before, that quote. I didn't know it was Ronan Keating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he wrote the song or not, but he definitely sang it.
It's one of my mum's favourite songs.
Is it? Big up your mum.
Big up, Kaz. So why do you think nature has such a powerful role in overcoming like stress and anxiety and other mental health issues?
I think I'd say deep down just because it can be calming, because it is calming. It's so vast, it's so large, it's so useful, immersive, that it depending on whatever part of nature, if you're out in a walk, you're doing a rock climb, you're having a swim, you're hugging a tree, you're planting something, you're digging something, it's all... I suppose connected. You just feel to not sound like, yeah, man, hippie dude.
No, we're all about that.
It's all connected. We are. Alison, my head of therapeutic horticulture, would say the same. She's like, we are all nature.
Yeah.
We need to all be connected because we are all nature. Even us as humans is part of nature.
Well, yeah, we are. I don't know. We've got to a point in humanity where we think we're so separate from everything else. But we've come from the same cell that the fish evolved from.
Yeah.
We evolved from, maybe not the fish, but it started as a single cell, apparently, didn't it? So surely I don't know how we've come so detached from that.
No.
But I think it's right. We are all one and we are all connected. And I always think of it like when you see somebody that you're really connected with, you love them and you love hanging out with them, you don't see them for a while, and then you see them again and you're like, oh my god, that was amazing, I feel fantastic, this is brilliant. It's like that but with nature. So when you reconnect with nature, you're like, oh my god, this is fantastic, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
Why didn't I do this sooner, sort of thing.
Nature is so giving as well. Like, and I suppose that sounds like a weird comment, but like any season has its benefits, has its beauty. I am one for rain. I love rain, and it's weird because I love the sun as well. But then people are like, oh, it's raining again. It's another shit day. And no, it's the rain. It's good rain. You've got to think about what that rain is. Like that is what's helping us eat. Because that is what's growing our plants. That is what's feeding the animals and stuff that are helping our produce and stuff grow. And so I try and look at the positive. That is the Pierce perspective.
Yeah, I love that.
Positivity, kindness, and love. It's the way that you should treat everything.
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. I'm kind of the same. Everyone asks me what my favourite season is, and when it's summer, I'm like, summer, I love the sun. I love it so much. And then it comes to winter, and I'm like, well, at the end of summer, I'm always like, oh, here comes winter. And then winter starts to come, and I'm like, but the mornings are so crisp.
But you missed autumn.
So lovely.
You missed out autumn.
Autumn,
the leaves coming down, the colour, the changing of the trees, the beautiful reds and browns and yellows that you see in the trees. Stunning colours.
I miss it out because I feel like we don't get much of one here.
Fair enough.
It just goes from boiling hot to ice age.
Snow.
Yeah.
But then again, I love the snow.
But I love the snow as well, yeah.
So yeah, nature is so giving. Like for whatever you want to do, if you want to just go for a walk, there's so many aspects of nature. Like I haven't even looked into like shade bathing and all sorts of things.
I've never
like
heard
this.
of that.
I don't really understand the concept. I've not looked into it that much, but like there are so many different things to do with and in nature.
Yeah.
We don't tap into it enough.
No, we're so disconnected as a society, aren't we? So what do you think we can do to reconnect? How do you get into that? Because a lot of things are so built up now.
It can be as simple, in my opinion, as just starting small. So something like a microgreens challenge.
What's that?
Get yourself a chocolate tub, like Heroes or Celebrations or whatever, one of those tubs. This is it, more so, I'm saying this for people that don't necessarily have the grow space or whatever. So if you haven't got grow space, one of these tubs are perfect. And this is great as well. So get yourself a chocolate tub, put a bit of compost in it, go to a garden centre and buy some peas. Just peas. Just peas. They're seed peas. But they just look exactly like normal peas. They're just a little bag of peas. Get home, push little holes in with your finger, put a pea in, scatter them around. Don't be sparing with them. Hoy them all in, like loads of them in, and then just cover them over gently with a bit of compost. Water them for the next couple of days, and in about 5 days, you'll see things shooting up straight away. That feeling that you will get from those first shoots is immeasurable to anything. It's wonderful. It really is.
It's like a firstborn.
Yeah, I mean, it's so nurturing. I love it. And then you can, you grow the microgreens, wait until it gets to about the length of your finger, and then just cut them off and eat them. Stick it in with your dinner. Garnish anything you want, or a little bit. Oh my
goodness!
And then they'll grow back again, and then they'll grow back. I think they grow back like 3 or 4 times.
Really?
And then if you wanted to, I think it's after the 3rd or 4th time, you can then grow them up into proper pea, like to get your podded peas off it and stuff like that. But if you just wanted to just do a microgreens challenge, just to test the water out, that's a great way to start.
Oh my goodness, I did not know about that. Bear in mind, I don't know that much about horticulture or anything.
Beetroot as well, that's another one.
Really?
Easy seeds, the short stems, microgreens, taste really good.
Oh my goodness, that's so easy. So I've wanted to get into gardening, or I haven't had a garden for a very long time. I want to get a green thumb. I want to get into growing stuff and harvest. You see those people on Instagram and they have a whole allotment and they'll go pick loads of vegetables for their dinner. And I'm just I want that to be my life. But I didn't know it was. I thought I would need the full allotment. I'd need garden space. I'd need all of these tools and equipment and time and money. I didn't realise it was as simple as.
I tell you what, an even easier way then, if you didn't want to, if you wanted more of a quick fix, herbs.
Okay.
So when you go to the shops and they've got the living herbs like basil and thyme and oregano.
In the little pots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get yourself one of those. They never last. They have a sell-by date on them, which is weird. How can plants have a sell-by date? It's not going to die. But what happens is they overload the pots. So there's too many in there so that they grow really quickly. You can harvest, but then what happens is all the roots strangle each other and 95% of them die because they're all strangled.
They're suffocating.
Exactly. So what you can do is once you bought it, you've got it home, take it out of the pot and then split it up into 4 or 5 or 6 different. So all you do is literally thumbs into the soil where the plant is and just break it up.
Will it just separate? The roots will just separate?
Will just separate. Just give it a little wiggle. Some will break, but some will stay intact. So give it a little wiggle, break them all up, get yourself another bit of compost, a little bigger pot, pot them all up separately. Then you'll have 6 plants that will last because they will just keep growing and keep growing.
Oh my goodness.
But the supermarkets don't want you to know that. So you keep going back to buy more basil.
Life hack. Yeah, not only is that a life hack, but that's also a good mindfulness activity to do.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it for my rabbits because they go through a lot of veg and herbs and stuff. So I might as well just do that.
So you could do some sort of romaine lettuce, which is called, I think it's romaine, or another way is cut and come again lettuce. So you plant it out, it grows, and once it's grown, chop it off, take it off, and then it'll grow again.
What?
Yeah, it's cut and come again, so you can I can't remember how many times you can take it off, but yeah, they'll grow a couple of times.
I suppose you can do that with spring onions as well.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, if you cut the ends up, the white ends off, and pop the roots in water, they'll just come back. I've done it before, but I forgot about them and they went mouldy. Yeah, I haven't got a green thumb, as you can.
It's a mouldy thumb.
It's a mouldy thumb. It's very green.
Not the right green.
Not the right green. So we've kind of already spoken about what we can do, with preventing mental health and stuff, and bad.
Mental ill health.
Mental ill health. That's,
there you go.
Yeah, there we go. So what...
Because we all have mental health. Mental health is, as you know, it's just a spectrum.
It's,
Everyone, you said a statistic earlier. Well, there was a statistic, I think, a couple of years back that WHO brought out, which was 1 in 4 adults suffer from mental ill health at one point in their life. I personally believe that's a lot more.
I was going to say 1 in 4 sounds low.
I mean, there's 3 people in this room. Put your hands up if you've had mental ill health. Yeah, I can see his fingers.
There he is.
That's 100% of the people in this room.
Yeah, that's not 1 in 4.
You know what I mean?
I think though, because I was saying to you before that it's kind of a tough one to have statistics on because a lot of people don't report it because it's such a taboo subject still, especially when all of these surveys and stuff are being done. Well, I don't know how they do it. Like, I'm quite open about my mental health and everything, but I would probably still... In like a survey, like professional survey, I'd be like, no, I'm not that bad. Like, I think as well, you second guess yourself into how bad it really is because you know people have it worse.
And I think the media portrays mental ill health so badly.
Oh my God, yeah.
So whenever something terrible happens, the media immediately jump on the mental ill health train. And that makes me sad because, like you're saying, the people that do suffer and struggle, they don't want to reach out for the fear of being tarred with a brush of, you know, the extremist people.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me sad. Like, that they feel like they can't reach out. And the support is there. I always say help is there for anyone and everyone. It doesn't see age, race, colour, creed, sex, orientation, size, hair colour, eye colour. It's non-discriminative. Help is there for anyone and everyone. And people should, know that they're allowed to reach out and get help whenever they need it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it is getting better, thankfully. But I think we still do have a long way to go with it.
Massively.
Because especially with men's mental health, it's still so taboo. Like, even though it has come a long way, men are still very much expected to not talk about it. Or if they're allowed to feel it, but they're not allowed to talk about it.
We seem weak.
Yeah.
If we show it.
Yeah, whereas we seem strong if we talk about it.
It's empowering for a woman to talk about it. For a man, it's diminishing and makes them feel weak. Whereas it shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't be at all. It's the same thing for both. Why is it empowering for me and not empowering for you? It's because it's like talking about it is a scary and brave thing to do, especially for a man. So why is that not empowering? Because you're doing something that's quote unquote brave.
Well, I think it's going back to archaic mentality. The man is the strong, nothing phases, attack anything, protector, nothing phases. That was the ideology of a man back in the day.
Yeah.
And I still think, I was brought up around that era of, suck it up while you're being a big girl, boys don't cry, and, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it takes a while for that repression to lift.
Yeah, it's like all about how you learn things and like your brain is wired to think that. Yeah. And even if you don't think that, your brain is still telling you that. So you have to unlearn these things to be able to not repress yourself in the same way.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually way braver and more empowering than me just being like, well, I'm sad. I'm so brave. I got through it.
Yeah.
I think... not to compare, like, obviously it's still hard for me to do, like, and, like, for women in general to do. But, like, I think if we are going to compare them, that is harder. Because that's, like, a whole nother layer to the whole thing, Because
we still have those chauvinistic men that if someone tries to reach out, you don't know if you're going to be met with a hug or with someone laughing in your face. And that's one thing that I'm trying to do is just break those taboos, break that stigma around talking about your mental health. In the States, they're leaps and bounds ahead of us. All right, not in everything. Let's say gun control, maybe not. But mental health, they're about a decade ahead of us.
Do you think? What makes you say that?
Most Americans will have their own therapist. Most Americans will be open. They will talk about their problems. They do talk about it with anyone and everyone. They share. Why are they allowed to and we're not?
I think it's very ingrained in British culture, though, to be honest. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why, but I think it's a very British thing to do is
stiff up a lip.
Yeah, and just like act fine. Like, I don't know. I've got this, I don't know how accurate this is, but in my head, whenever you see like a funeral or something, and it's an American funeral, it's always everyone's very much like crying and showing their emotion, they're showing their mourning. But if it's a British funeral, everyone's just there like
sat.
Yeah.
The main sort of widow or widower would be crying.
Yeah, they're allowed.
But a lot of people are just I agree with that. Sat up, prim and proper, just
paying your respects.
Yeah. Whereas you should, like you say, you should let go, let your emotions out.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it at all. And I think crying especially is so good for you. Like, you just need to cry sometimes.
I wish I could cry more.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you not cry very much?
I don't know why. But then again, it'll be because of my childhood or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't cry much. And I feel It's not that I don't feel emotion.
Yeah.
And I feel like the tears, I feel the water in my eyes, I feel, my face getting up. But it doesn't ever really take that next step for tears coming out.
Yeah.
And I think, I could do with something like that maybe for that release that you're talking about. When you do it, you do get that release. And I think, that day that I do end up crying.
Oh, you're going to feel fantastic. You're going to feel so good. You need to work on that. Just try and find like a space where you can just
feel it, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that don't have access to like green spaces or any sort of, well, not any sort of nature, but it's very built up. What would you suggest that they do to use nature and horticulture as a mental health tool?
I mean, going back to the chocolate box.
Yeah.
Straight away, that's the one that I say, when people come to us and they say, oh, but I haven't got a garden, doesn't matter. Get yourself a little chocolate box. Or if you've got a thin, shallow windowsill, get yourself a thin, shallow trough box. You can get them at garden centres or B&M Home Bargains, those sort of shops, quite cheap. And then have it on your windowsill, so that way you're bringing nature inside. These are good if you get the real ones.
Yeah, not that one.
I'm pointing at a spider plant. Which I should have brought you. I've got loads at home. I should have brought you one down. Spider plants are great.
They're quite easy to take care of, aren't they?
Yeah, really robust. They are air purifiers, so they clean the air in the room. They are asexual, so they give off their own babies on their limbs, and it's quite nice that you can just take them off and plant them really nicely, really easily. But that's something I'd say for somebody that doesn't have green space. Get yourself some household plants. Get yourself some spider plants, some mother-in-law's tongue. Any of those that are air purifiers, they bring that green into the house. That's how you can get your little nature fix. That's how I
bring it into you. I might have to get some real plants. God, you convinced me. New hobby alert. We've spoken a lot about the mental health stigma, all of the taboos and stuff around it. How do you think nature can change that narrative?
I suppose it's about just being part of something bigger. And once you're in nature, be it a chocolate pot with some seedlings in it or actually out in a forest, it's grounding, I suppose. It's wanting to utilise the word again, mindfulness. It's putting you in the present moment. And, you're not thinking of the future, you're not thinking of the past, you're in the now.
You obviously do a lot of work with mental health and breaking the stigmas and the taboos and stuff. What would you say is the biggest challenge in that?
I can't really put my finger on what the biggest challenge is, I suppose. But I suppose it's just reaching people, letting people know that it's okay not to be okay, and that it's okay to reach out. It's okay to feel shit and go to your boss and say, I'm not right. I need help. Or I need help to get through this. I need some time. Getting through to people, I suppose, and letting them know. I suppose that's one of the hardest things. Yeah. Empowering people.
Yeah, I think everybody sort of knows the phrase, it's okay to not be okay now. But I think there's a huge difference between knowing the words and truly understanding it.
Yeah.
Like truly knowing within yourself that it's okay to feel shit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just like, I feel shit, it's fine. But they're still just like, well, it's fine. Like, I'll just ignore
brush
it.
Brush it off. Brush it off. Under the carpet. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not quite what it means. Obviously, the distractions are good, but it's not good to use the distractions to ignore the feelings.
No.
Like completely forever.
It's not ignoring it. It's strengthening your resilience.
Yeah.
Instead, it's not blinkering yourself to not believe it's there. It's strengthening your resilience and your resolve to empower you to know that you can get through it without feeling like that.
Yeah, that's so true. And that's the hard part, I think, because you can tell people the words, but getting it into their heads is the hardest part, I suppose.
Especially if they are mentally ill at that point in time.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get the message through to somebody, especially, if the bipolar or borderline personality or some sort like that, it can be difficult to get the information across, but that's why the trained professionals are there. Reach out. There are I know that there are waiting lists, but there are ways around. There are ways to do things. There's the right to choose things like that. There are ways and means to get through stuff, and please know you're not alone.
Yes, 100%. So on that note, for listeners who are currently struggling with their mental health, what advice would you give them if they're feeling disconnected or they're looking for ways to feel more grounded or to start helping themselves?
I mean, I can revisit any of the points that I've mentioned already. Do the chocolate box. Get yourself some microgreens or get yourself out in nature. Have a little walk on your own. You know, maybe don't even take any tunes with you. You know, no earpods. Go to some nature reserve or some forest near yours or whatever, and just have a little walk around, even if it's for 5 minutes. Just have a bit of you time. So then again, you've spoke about this on your show before. Self-care, self-love. Take some time for you.
Yeah, and you have to be fully present in that as well, as hard as it is.
Oh yeah, there's no point walking around the forest and still thinking about your shopping.
No, yeah, yeah, of course. But I think that's obviously the easy way out. So I went on a walk and I still feel shit.
Yeah.
Because obviously you might still feel shit after being present on your walk still, but the likelihood is that you will feel at least a little smidgen better.
Yeah.
At
Definitely.
least. Yeah. So what's one small thing that people who are listening today can do, like right now, or like in the next, when they finish this episode, to help them?
Okay, I'll tell you what, just practice a little bit of mindfulness. And when I say mindfulness, just do a little bit of breathing. So once this episode finishes, just pause whatever platform you're listening to it on and just sit, put your hands on your knees and literally just relax into a pose, close your eyes and just focus on your breath. Just focus on breathing in. And for me, I focus on the turn. That change of when the inner breath changes and becomes the outer breath. Try and find that moment and try and live in that moment for as long as you can.
That is so interesting.
It's that turn, you see. It's part of you. So as you breathe in, that turn is there, and just live in that for just as long as you can, and then breathe out.
I've never felt that before. That turning, no. I'm always very focused on the in, the hold, and then
just
the
feel
breath.
that turn.
But I just felt that. Yeah. What the hell?
It's powerful.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my god, try that right now. Pause the episode right now and try that, because that's crazy. Because I speak a lot about like meditation and mindfulness, and I do a lot of like breathing exercises through that, and yoga and Yoda.
Yoda, all about the Yoda. Forever, it's no longer known as yoga, by the way. It's now Yoda. Everything is Yoda.
But yeah, so I do a lot of like these breathing things. I've never focused on the turning point. That's always missed. I've never even thought to think of that.
So that was given to me by a guy called Lance Sullen, who is the owner of Mindfulness Leicester. He's such a guru. He used to be a martial arts, and he is just this Zen master. And Lance and he gave me a free course once, a mindfulness course, which I would hands down recommend to anybody, those sorts of courses, because it taught me the breathing techniques. It taught me, a few soundtracks, a few guided meditations. But he was the one that taught me to find the turn. And like you just done there, it's like once you know it's there, it gives you that focus point to just feel as you and feel it when you twist and then breathe out again.
It gives so much more to, obviously deep breathing is really good for you, but like, I don't know, it just feels like something more when you're focusing on that part as well, because I feel like you're fully connected then, rather than just like, well, I'm focusing on my breath, I'm here, this is my breath. But I suppose when you're just doing that, you're not focused on the whole thing.
No.
But when you incorporate that as well, it's like, this is me. This is what I'm doing. Like my body's doing that. Like, that's mental. I can't believe I've never noticed that.
So Lance was saying, so once you get really good at that, you can like live in the turn for like a nice amount of time. And there's a way, I think it's Buddhism or there's a certain way that when you're in that turn, there's a way of connecting with your body. It's a bit like a troubleshoot on a computer. So you can be real present in your body and feel. So like it's been known to, feel aches, pains, where hurts, where if there's a problem anywhere, things have been found due to, well, that feels uncomfortable while I'm doing this. So they only get that checked out and actually there was something wrong. And so it's ways about just being present in yourself as well and feeling yourself.
Well, I'm so glad you shared that, because that's going to be life-changing. I cannot wait to use that. I cannot wait. So I think we've kind of covered so much today. So
we haven't covered everything now.
Okay.
I forgot to say, because you talk a lot about journaling, don't you?
I do, yeah.
So what I wanted to do was to give you one of these,
Aww.
which is our inspiration.
Really?
Yeah,
For me?
yeah, for the journaling.
Are you sure? I was going to buy one.
No, I'd like to give it to you as a present.
Thank you
as a
so
gift.
much. Oh.
It's one of our inspirational notebooks.
Oh my god! Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, I might cry.
Oh, can I just show you one thing as
Yes.
well? This is about creativity. This is what I love. And schools and all that. This quote was written by my son when he was 7 years old.
Really?
Yeah, I was creating this book, and he came in and he was like, "What are you doing?" So I told him, I explained what it's for. You know, each page has got a little quote on it to make somebody smile and make somebody think. And he was like, "Well, can I have a go?" And immediately I was going to say no, and then I thought, well, yeah, of course you can. So I went, yeah, go ahead. You have a think and see what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
And he went off. Come back a couple of minutes later, and he just literally, I'm sat at the computer, and he just went, "What about? No one knows everything. Just do the best you can."
That is so profound.
7 years old.
At 7 years old.
And I was just like, that's in.
That's brilliant.
So, yeah,
You've
that's-
raised a little legend, it seems. Thank you so much. Oh my god, I've got a train journey to do. I cannot wait to use this. Thank you so much.
You wasn't welcome.
I'll show you the camera. Where can you buy this?
You can get them on Amazon. It's just type in the Pierce Perspective Inspirational Notebook, or you can follow us on social media and buy them through us. So it's the Pierce Perspective. It's PIERCE.
Yeah, and I'll leave a link in the description as well.
Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll have to do another one because
Yeah.
I think we have so much to talk about.
Well, we've got Yoda, schools.
Oh god.
There's 2 episodes.
There's at least 2 more. Well, thank you so much, Andy. It's always a pleasure. And, well, I'll see you for another episode very soon.
Definitely. You take care.
You too. Thanks so much for tuning into today's episode of Squares and Circles. I hope our conversation with Andy on mental health and nature provided you with valuable insights and inspiration. The journey from teenagehood to adulthood is challenging, but with the right knowledge and support, we can all thrive. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate, review, or whatever it is on the platform that you're listening on. It really helps us to reach more people who could benefit from these discussions. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. You can also connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Squares and Circles Pod for more content, tips and advice. And be sure to check out Andy's podcast as well, The Pierce Perspective, and grab his inspirational notebook from Amazon, and also follow all of his social medias as well, which will all be linked below. For more resources and useful journal prompts on today's topic, be sure to check out our website at squaresandcirclespod.com, also will be linked below. Share this podcast with friends, family, or anyone who might need a little extra support on their journey to adulthood. And remember, grow with purpose, dream delusionally, and become the person you've always been destined to be. Catch you next time. Bye!